Good morning, Christopher.
Good morning, Chair. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. Good morning, Team IT. Good morning, Valerie.
Good morning, Counselor. How are you this morning?
I am well, thank you.
Did you bike in?
I did. Winds from the east. I hate those days. I like to get the wind at my back on the morning ride, but there it is.
I think there's a good chance you'll be getting wet later in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a chilly one. There
Good
we
morning,
go.
Counselor DeRuse. I saw you for an instant.
Good morning, Valerie. How are you?
I'm
Hi,
great.
Jenna. Hi, Jeff. Everyone.
Good morning, George. Good morning, Jenna.
Good morning.
Trying to fix I'm having a technical difficulty with my microphone, so
Oh,
it's okay. I'm not I'm in my office, so just want to make sure for the record. Don't laugh, Jeff. I know why you're laughing. It's gonna be like with me for a long time.
Yep. Just a reminder to members that we are streaming live to YouTube. Familiarize myself with the agenda. I am now familiarized with the agenda. Chris, are we doing or Valerie, are we doing a staff presentation today on the budget?
yes.
Fantastic, thank you.
Good morning, Counselor Suds. I saw you on Twitter sleeping outside, I think, this weekend. How did that go?
Sure did. Friday night, my three daughters and I slept on the back deck for the Youth Services Bureau sleep out. It was cold. The goal was also to stay awake, so stay awake and stay out. I wasn't so good at the stay awake part. The kids were, but yeah, we did it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and there was quite a bit of money raised, I understand.
Yes, yeah, we did really well. Yeah, it was worthwhile. I'm still recovering, but worthwhile.
Good morning, Tim. Is that Hal? That's Hal.
How? Yes. It was funny. I was talking to my staff this morning. I said, I need a cool virtual background. And I went, good morning, Dave. And then they didn't understand because they're all too young what it even was. Yeah, aging myself. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I loved that movie. That was so. Yeah, I'm aging myself as well, but that was extraordinary at the time. I kept thinking, just unplug it.
And what does George have up there? Russian code or something? Are you hacking? What are you doing over there?
He's in the Matrix.
Yeah.
In the Matrix, buddy. I'm having competition background for backdrop with you, so we'll see which one's gonna be better.
There was some kind of meme, it was years ago, but somebody examined computer movies when all the computer movies came out. What was the one with Broderick? War Games?
War Games.
War Games. And they noted, every keystroke made some sort of electronic click. That was how you knew it was a film, is when you were typing, every keystroke had to make a click. Back in the day.
Back in the day.
Back in the day. Who was the actress in War Games?
Oh, that was. If there's only a magical thing that you can use to figure that out.
If there was some source of information, some technology. Ali, it was Ali Sheedy. I was thinking Ali Sheedy. It was Ali Sheedy. That must have been one of her very early roles. 1983.
Wow.
Yeah.
So do we get in the big discussion about Die Hard? Is it a Christmas movie?
We've only got 3 minutes, and that's like a several hour multiple beer conversation, but the answer is yes. And that is the War Games background.
It is. It is.
Would you like to play a game? Was that the?
Yeah, that's right. Great movie.
I saw it at the Bayshore Cinemas on Carling. I remember coming out of that. I think it was a summer film.
It was great. Same with Weird Science. Remember Weird Science? That was a
I
fun
didn't
one.
see that one in theaters. I think that was a VHS experience.
Oh, yes.
Kelly LeBrock? Brock.
Where they turned a Barbie doll into a real person. Oh, yeah. Fun.
All right. It is 9:30. We're all here. So good morning, everyone. To those who are watching on YouTube, good morning. This is a meeting of the Information Technology Subcommittee. We've got a short agenda today, so I will run through it quickly. Essentially, we're going to be taking a look at the budget with the staff presentation, and then there is an information previously distributed that Councillor Suds has asked be lifted. So the first item on the agenda, declarations of interest. Any to declare? Seeing none, confirmation of minutes, ITSC minutes, 21st of September, 2020. Are those received?
Received.
Amazing. So we're going to go through the budget. There is an information previously distributed update on connectivity interim response to directions. Councillor Suds, I take you'd like to move to have that lifted for discussion this morning.
Yes, please.
Chris, could you put that motion on the screen?
We will do that momentarily, Chair.
So there's the motion to lift this for discussion. Is that motion carried?
Carried.
Fantastic. So with that, we will jump into, I'll just let that be on screen for a second. Excellent. With that, I'll just jump into the budget. Valerie and Sandro, over to you to take us through the 2021 budget.
Thank you. So if we can have the slides put up, please. Let me know when they're. Thank you. All right, thank you. So, Chair and members of this committee, it is my pleasure to present you Information Technology Services 2021 draft budget. Next slide, please. Thank you for the opportunity today to propose to you our 2021 operating and capital budgets, which I'm confident will position ITS and our partners to achieve meaningful results that are aligned with the term of council priorities, all while continuing to support city staff and residents through the pandemic. As you know, ITS is a key partner to all service areas across the city of Ottawa, enabling technology solutions that support optimized, efficient, and innovative service delivery. We continue to be reliable partners, innovative change agents, and trustworthy custodians, aligning our efforts to the priorities of the city's departments, services, and the various COVID task teams. Next slide, please. ITS base operating budget of $69.29 million represents a $1.52 million augmentation in 2021. This is to account for adjustments for potential 2021 cost of living, increments and benefit adjustments, inflationary impacts on maintenance contracts, purchase services, materials, and other services. We're also requesting an additional $480,000 to continue to provide critical support to the city's various task teams, service areas, and employees working remotely, which I will speak to in greater detail throughout this presentation. Next slide, please. We have taken a strategic and pragmatic approach to the ITS renewal capital, having structured and funded a budget envelope to address multiple corporate objectives in order to maximize the value of our investments. These investments in information security programs and technologies include continuing modernizing legacy applications and infrastructure to support the digital experience, leveraging the foundational digital citizen platform built in 2020 to provide more self-service opportunities to residents, continuing the rollout of an enterprise data analytics solution to support data-driven decision-making, core hardware and infrastructure lifecycle activities, as well as continuing automation solutions and services. Next slide, please. As outlined on this slide, the funding source for our key capital investments is 100% funded by capital reserves. Next slide, please. 2020, a year in review. 2020 has been an extraordinary year, but it's nice to have the opportunity to stop and reflect at some of our accomplishments. Competing pressures for ITS has only been compounded by the need to support critical COVID-19 response and recovery efforts. However, despite this, we continue to lead initiatives and projects to advance the city's strategic priority to deliver service excellence through innovation by enhancing our information technology and digital capabilities and promoting and supporting innovation across all lines of business. Through our platform rationalization policy and our enhancements to our process, as well as our investment in our people, ITS has made significant progress on many exciting in-flight projects and initiatives that this year, as shown on the slide. I'd like to highlight a few of these projects for you. Geo Ottawa. ITS launched new public-facing and internal versions of Geo Ottawa, which now works on any device and provide web-accessible features to significantly improve the overall user experience. Geo Ottawa's maps and tools provide critical functionality for city business lines that use Geo Ottawa as part of their daily operations and service delivery. Residents, businesses, and visitors to Ottawa can use the public-facing application to learn about the city. SAP Ariba. In October, we partnered with our colleagues in supply and finance to roll out Ariba, a procure-to-pay solution that delivers a new requisitioning, purchase order, and invoicing solution. Ariba allows for the automation the streamlining, and the standardization of processes from requisitioning to invoice handling for the entire organization, and will improve process timelines, increase spend visibility, and contract compliance, as well as improve both the user and vendor experience. Social Eligibility Reporting Vendor Information System service. ITS continues to make significant progress towards delivering a new Microsoft Dynamics 365 service application replacement in collaboration with stakeholder departments. The program will be used to deliver various city-funded programs like the residential care, home support, essential health and social support, and dental care for clients who are not in receipt of social assistance. It will also support the issuance of benefits for clients in receipt of provincial social assistance programs, including Ontario Works and the Ontario Disability Support Program. I would also like to highlight another key factor for our success in 2020, and this was our people. ITS continues to remain committed to developing and supporting our most important asset. We want to ensure staff have the tools, the training, and the skills required to deliver excellent service. And an example of this was in June of this year, ITS hosted, and we also created a virtual conference offering over 30 learning opportunities to increase technology literacy across the organization by sharing the outstanding innovation that we have achieved together and preview what's to come for the future here at the City of Ottawa. This conference was an opportunity to connect as a community through our main collaborative tools, SharePoint, Teams, and Power Apps, as well as demonstrate how we can continue to leverage these channels to empower our workforce, optimize operations, transform our products and services, and engage clients and residents. Other users of these tool sets, such as Microsoft, came to us to ask us, how did we do it? Our people also quickly developed our first ever OBOT. This was done internally, which is accessible through Teams. The OBOT helps with IT-related questions and collaborates with HR and payroll, pensions, and benefits as we continue to add content to help employees access more information quickly. We also continue to review, enhance, and update our processes, such as services like automation, toolset, etc. If we go to slide number 7, thank you. But we can't talk about 2020 without mentioning our work to support the city during the pandemic. As you know, the global COVID-19 pandemic necessitated substantive adjustments across the corporation as lines of business recalibrated to deliver services safely and reliably. This slide highlights some of the work we accomplished to support the city during the pandemic. As you know, ITS was able to quickly and successfully move the city administrative workforce to a remote working environment, with many employees new to a home office setting and in the early stages of adopting to some of the newer tools. ITS has, and we will continue to play an instrumental role in providing critical support to the multiple task teams, to our employees working from home, and our city operations. Both telephone and walk-in services at 26,000 and at our city tech centers at Constellation and City Hall are continuing to provide the high level of service that our clients depend on, even more today. I'd like to note that physical distancing measures and other modifications have been made at both city tech locations, as well as careful adherence to health and safety protocols for site support visits. The number one goal is to keep ITS colleagues and clients safe while delivering services in this COVID-19 environment. I'd like to share with you a few of the 2020 ITS by the numbers from a frontline perspective year to date. We've had about 98,000 service desk requests, some 7,800 walk-ins, over 3,000 site support requests, and about 2,800 telecom requests. Overall, our support request held steady in 2020. However, there was a significant change in the type of support that was required. Solution desk calls increased in 2020, but by adding several new technical features this year, including OPH chat support, client appointments, and convenient courtesy callback features, this allowed us to keep great IT service for our clients. As one would expect, our site visits and physical appointments handled at our 2 city tech centers were lower in 2020. Although these sites visits and city tech requests were less in number, we had much more non-standard, more complicated requests due to adjust measures related to COVID-19. But by using automation and innovation to create capacity, such as the chat support and client appointments, this frontline team was then able to handle the additional COVID support requests that came from various departments. Some of this was to provide support for the additional OPH COVID support calls that didn't exist in 2019. We configured, delivered, we supported 900 plus laptops for Community Social Services Department to support essential services during the pandemic. We deployed VPN to 4,903 city desktops. Zoom was certified, deployed as a city support video conferencing solution. And our Constellation City Tech had 100% uptime during the pandemic with significant safety measures. And the one other indicator that showed we kept support at levels that our clients expect was that client satisfaction raised from 89.95% satisfied or very satisfied in 2019 to 91.59% satisfied or very satisfied in 2020. In addition, the implementation of Microsoft Office 365 that ITS completed for network employees in 2019 demonstrated a significant return on investments as the corporation adapted to new ways of delivering and supporting services, further validating the innovative decision to migrate to the cloud. Employees were immediately and seamlessly able to secure, leverage the cloud-based suite, facilitate sharing of important internal communication from Ottawa Public Health, our city manager, human resources, and departmental leaders. And this year, ITS also completed the implementation of provision of network access, email accounts, and online Office 365 to almost 5,000 previously non-networked employees. At the September 21st ITS subcommittee, I mentioned that ITS was in the midst of partnering with Elections Office for the October 5 Ward 19 by-election. As you're aware, the by-election was successfully completed by our colleagues, despite the need to develop 3 new requirements: the digital enablement of previously in-person services, notably those related to candidates and nominations, the adaptation of systems and technical processes procedures to accommodate the special mail-in ballot pilot, and the provision of additional hardware and connectivity solutions to support a live voters list to support anywhere voting. We also work closely with our colleagues in City Clerk's Office and OPH to secure Zoom and Bell conferencing licensing, access technology, security, and accessibility requirements, and provide technical support to hold council, committee, COVID-19 town halls, and budget consultation meetings virtually while simultaneously broadcasting on YouTube. Most recently, ITS deployed the federal COVID alert app to all city-issued iPhones and have encouraged staff to download the app on both city and personal iOS and Android mobile devices to help keep themselves safe, our colleagues, and community safe. The federal COVID alert mobile app, released by the Government of Canada in July 2020, uses wireless technology to inform people if they have been exposed to COVID-19 and supplements the manual contact tracing activities of OPH. As the pandemic situation evolves, I want to ensure you that ITS will continue to play a strong partnership role in order to meet the various task team mandates, support employees who continue to work remotely, as well as explore new innovative possibilities to optimize the technologies and platforms we currently have in place to address the needs of our organization and the community. Could we go to slide 8, please? In addition to the items that you see on this slide, and those that I will highlight to you shortly, ITS remains fully committed to and entrenched in the support of the recovery of COVID-19. We will continue to provide the high level of service staff have come to rely on, even while working from home or on the front lines. We continue to be heavily involved in the city's various task teams, focusing on the city services and our people. It is unclear how long COVID-19 will impact our way of doing business and the impact it will have on the city operates when the virus is no longer a threat. It remains, however, imperative that we continue to invest in our IT infrastructure. Now, more than ever, residents rely on digital, accessible, secure, convenient, and efficient ways to obtain city services. In consultation with internal clients, ITS has developed a 2021 client-centric, business-first work plan that aligns with the city's and respective departments' strategic priorities and responds to emerging needs. Prioritization of projects and other initiatives across the organization, ITS has just implemented a new intake process that provides a high level of transparency, the ability for all employees to have a view into the ITS intake items and ongoing projects in all departments. This increased transparency is designed to support prioritization exercises across all lines of business. This is especially important during the pandemic, as service areas reprioritize and look for opportunities to leverage existing solutions as they deliver services in new ways. ITS goal and focus areas for 2020.
Well, that's awkward.
I thought it was me, but no, I guess.
We'll give Sandro just a minute or two. Is there another staff person who's prepared to carry on the presentation?
Counselor, I'm going to quickly text Sandro and see if he shuts off his video, if he's able to rejoin.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yep, please, thanks.
Sorry.
Oh, you're
Oh.
back, Sandro?
He's back.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. Where did I leave? I'll start with Digital City.
Sure.
Okay. Sorry about that. So did I walk through the slide right now that's on?
We
Yeah,
hadn't.
you only froze about 30 seconds ago, Sandro.
Okay. Sorry. All right. So Digital City, I'll just reiterate that, and I apologize for that. So as the city continues to move to digital, we are moving with it. In 2021, ITS will combine technology and expertise to further progress our organization in the digital realm. For example, our colleagues in human resources provide essential support to the various service areas across the city. With the implementation of SAP SuccessFactors, this will modernize our human resources by improving workforce insight and thus enhancing strategic decision-making and business performance. We will also be working with our colleagues in recreation, cultural, and facility services to enhance the city's registration, booking, and payment experience for city programs and services by replacing the class system. As you know, residents rely on the system heavily to enroll in various programs offered across the city to all ages. The new ActiveNet system is a modern solution that continues to adapt to changes in the industry. It delivers a common, easy-to-use tool that can scale up during peak registration periods and provide opportunities to integrate with several of our enterprise solutions. Furthermore, we recognize our residents are looking to connect with the city digitally, and we are fully engaged on several key initiatives, such as the public engagement strategy and Open Data Ottawa to support the innovative potential of the Ottawa community. Modern IT. As the nation's capital, we strive to be municipal leaders in IT modernization and across all sectors. We are rich with forward, innovative thinkers, and I'm really excited about the projects included in this theme. As I mentioned earlier, our people are our most important asset, and ITS will continue to invest in our people in 2021 by implementing an ITS talent roadmap that will identify emerging trends across the industry, requiring internal training and establishing a learning path for staff in the mentorship program. ITS will also support the modernization of our intranet service by moving content from the Oracle system to leverage SharePoint and reconfiguring the NetWeaver SAP portal for pieces that will be left in the current intranet portal. Advanced innovations. We are constantly striving to improve, changing how we do business by applying advanced technologies and innovation to the end user. We will continue to look for opportunities to increase the use of chatbot, which is a full virtual agent built by the AI framework in Microsoft. Data plays a critical role in decision-making, and I'm pleased to share with you that we are establishing a governance committee for data analytics, a master data management solution, and enhancing the use of data dashboards to various business lines across the city. Secure City. This is an extremely important pillar of what we do. It is a component of our business that is constantly evolving and requires us to continuously strengthen the level of the city's security posture and migrate risk associated with the exposure to the ever-changing threat landscape. As we introduce new and modern technology and move our business to the cloud, our technology risk increased. Tremendous work has been accomplished in this regard, but as previously mentioned, the threat landscape is ever-changing and is vital that ITS and the entire city remain vigilant. As part of that, we'll be renewing our business continuity plan and evolving our data security framework. I'm very proud of the work plan we have put in place for the year ahead, and I'm confident that our operating and capital budget position in ITS and our partners to achieve meaningful results in 2021. We're going to continue to support the city in operations and COVID support. We will continue to partner with all departments, prioritizing projects and initiatives to support COVID response, operations, our residents, and our economic recovery. Our new intake process will provide a view into all intake items and provide opportunities to leverage similar needs with existing or new solutions. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank all of the ITS staff for their extraordinary efforts this past year, especially our frontline employees and our employees in network operations who adapted to changing work environments, all while continuing to provide exceptional services to clients in a safe manner. Also like to say thanks to the ITS management team, Jason Barney, Allison Gazer, John Call, Lee Farrell, Chris Fulton, Asha Gajaria, Bev Gibbons, Christine Moran, Matt Guerin, Susan McKercher, and our CISO, Brian Wilson, for their continued readiness to improve and embrace challenges. Thank you. To Valerie for her support and leadership throughout this year, and of course to this subcommittee for your continued trust in ITS to enable technology solutions that support optimized, efficient, and innovative service delivery. Next slide, please. This concludes my presentation for today. As always, I'd be pleased to answer any of your questions you may have. Thank you so much for your time.
Sandra, thank you so much for the presentation. I don't have a lot of questions. Chris, we still have no speakers signed up to present?
That is correct, Chair.
So we'll go directly into questions. I've had a chance to chat with the IT staff a bit over the past little bit. I just want to say 2020 has had more than enough drama. And one of the things that I am really pleased with is that the IT team has so well supported the city without drama. It is a foundational piece that is simply working. With that, I will turn it over to questions. And first on the list, Councillor Sudds.
Thank you very much, Chair Leeper. And I would echo that. It's been amazing to see, and when we give thought to what your team has accomplished throughout COVID, there's been zero drama. We've been able as city staff and employees to continue to seamlessly do our jobs because of the support that you've provided. So I certainly echo Chair Leeper's comments there. I just have a few questions. So Sandra, you just mentioned the replacement of the class system. This is definitely something I know many of my colleagues as well have spoken about in the past as a much needed improvement. Can you give us a sense of timelines when residents will actually be able to use the new system for enrollment?
Thank you, Councillor. That's a great question. We're actually right now in the process of putting some of those dates together. So we're working with our colleagues. So I think it's we're just really finalizing right now as we start to solidify the 2021 plan. But I'd be more than happy once we have a better agreement with the various different players. That we're all in agreement with the specific dates. But I think 2021 will be a date that will have a go live that people are really very eager. We did a lot of really great work in 2020 with regards to getting the contract signed. Tremendous amount of work was taken. It was a very complex negotiations that we had in place, but we are finalizing that plan right now. And if you like, once I know with the more specific dates for 2021, I can share it with this committee.
Fantastic. That'd be great, Sandro. And I'm sure our residents will appreciate when that goes live as well. So thanks. I know it's been a big undertaking to replace that. So thank you. Question around COVID. And, you know, you did touch on in your presentation the extent of your team's input and efforts to keep the city running. Now, I guess my question is, going forward into 2021 and understanding, of course, COVID is still ongoing through this next year. I'm wanting to make sure that those budget impacts are reflected and that you have the resources that you need to continue to sustain these efforts.
Thank you, Councillor. It's another great question. We've been working with our finance colleagues where we've been identifying, the costs that we felt that were attributed to COVID support in 2020. And so we took a look at the cost that we spent with regards to infrastructure, devices, overtime, licensing, and other kind of purchases. And so working with finance, we were able to come up, I think, with a good number for 2021, because there is a lot of uncertainty, as you mentioned.
Sure.
But looking that we probably have months of support until we get back to some kind of new normal. We really wanted to leverage what did we do in 2020, thinking it'd probably be a copy of that into 2021. And so we feel comfortable with the amount that we requested, as well as we've been developing really good working relationship with a lot of our partners. So, COVID doesn't just affect ITS, it affects all the cities. So within some of the various programs. So 2020, we had a really good working relationship with a lot of our clients. They understood, the pressures that we were coming in with regards to new COVID that didn't exist in 2020 when we started to put our plan together in 2019. So they've been really good to kind of help reprioritize the work. As I mentioned, we have our new intake process that we really take a look at the importance of the work, the urgency of the work, opening up a lot of that collaboration, communications with the groups. So to quickly answer your question with regards to the budget impact, I feel very comfortable with the amount that we've requested. I think we used a lot of the information that we could draw on to 2020 and kind of replicate that we believe that would be essentially the same kind of services that will be requested.
Okay, terrific. And I think that leads me to one other area I just wanted to probe on a little bit, and that is around kind of the future of work. So we know, most of our employees are working remote. ITS has been phenomenal at facilitating that from a technology point of view. But I'm wondering, what is the thoughts? What is the viewpoint moving forward into 2021 around the future of remote work? And tying that back to the budget, are there budget implications as a result?
Right. So thank you, Councillor, for the question. As you pointed out, this past March, the city asked those who could work from home to do so, and this was a part of our emergency response. So our goal really was to preserve and protect our workforce and to flatten the curve by reducing community spread. In the past 8 months, we've been evaluating this forced change and continuing to provide supports to staff who are working remotely while also ensuring the health and safety of those who are required to be in the workplace. So as you've undoubtedly noticed, many employers have been signaling that they intend to build out a more structured remote work program. And this includes a large employer in Ottawa, the federal government, Shopify, the Conference Board of Canada, and recently the City of Toronto released a business case around remote work. So in the coming months, we will be continuing to follow public health advice to reduce the spread of COVID, and we'll also be building out our mobile workforce strategy as a part of the Thriving Workforce Term of Council priority. And out of that will flow any budget impacts.
Terrific. So the development of a mobile workforce strategy, that's fantastic. I think it's really interesting. And your point that the City of Toronto is working on a business case in this regard, I think it's something we do need to give thought to. I know, pros and cons, but there are some efficiencies in some circumstances to be gained. So I'm glad to hear that's getting the attention that it needs.
Yes, thank you, Councillor. And I would add that, we really do need to separate the forced change of the emergency response from what one would normally consider to be a mobile workforce strategy.
Yeah.
So, sending everyone home within 24 hours that could go home, and folks have been extraordinarily productive and continue to be so. But we really would like to build out something that has more clear objectives and that is more structured. And doesn't involve, as we get to new normal or post-COVID, I think the extraordinary amount of isolation that folks are feeling is not inherent with a typical remote work environment. So we will continue to build those things out, and I do appreciate your question.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, thank you very much. That's all for me for questions.
Thank you, Councillor Suds. Councillor DeRuz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you, my question was around the budget 2020 and budget 2021, making sure it's reflected. And Councillor Suds and I think Sandra did give the answer and very good explanation. But I want to take a moment to thank Sandra and Valerie's team for an amazing work. I know that you work behind the scene, but without you through COVID, we won't be able to functioning. So basically, you touch almost every department, from committee to councilor's office to every single item business we do during day in and day out in the city. So I want to thank you for your response and support for all these departments on behalf of the city. We're really thankful that we have an ITS, strong ITS actually, team like yours. And I know that throughout the by-election, I was very impressed. I was very surprised to see how your team pulled together. We watched the election and there was no glitch, no nothing. So not like in every aspect and every business you've done through COVID, you demonstrate that we have a leadership and great team. So I just want to basically thank you and your team for that. And I'm happy to see that you're satisfied with the budget. And I'm hoping that if there is anything else we missed or something, maybe we'll get back to it. But we appreciate all the work and effort your team's been doing. Please relay that to your team. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor, for the opportunity to, your very kind words, and for the opportunity to thank Sandro and his team. And as you so rightly pointed out, the COVID situation has been extremely fluid, and anytime we've called upon them to do something, they have delivered flawlessly. So it really is quite extraordinary. And I would hold them up against any IT team anywhere, anytime. They are truly extraordinary. And through that, continuing to move the bar on legacy modernization, open data, Geo Ottawa, all the other projects that we really needed to see moved along. So thank you for your very kind words.
No, I just want to make sure, because you know what, it's we are really still doing business in the back end, and our business haven't stopped. We're actually very busy through committees and through all the files we've been dealing with, budgets and but the thing is, even when hiring staff and when we're adding more people, we're not even seeing any delay through COVID. So I want to highlight that, because this is very important for our daily delivery services for only our resident and our city. So it's important to be highlighted. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. And now we have an all staff coming in December, so I'll express the gratitude from the IT subcommittee. So thank you very much. They are an amazing team. Really, like Valerie said, we're really lucky to have them. They're so dedicated. Like in March and April, some of them worked like 28, 30 straight days without taking a day off. They were amazing, and they do realize that they're still going to be an important component moving into 2021, and they take a lot of pride in the work. And thank you very much for those really kind words.
Yeah, it's important to see that it didn't go unrecognized. So make sure you highlighted that. And thank you for that, Sandro. And Mr. Chair, that's all what I have. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor. Councillor Tierney.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And echoing all the same points of all my fellow colleagues, we're really impressed where IT is. I think that's one big silver lining. I hate to keep asking this one all the time, but it's something that's just a bugaboo for me. Where are we on the SIRE front?
Hello, Councillor. This is Caitlin from the clerk's office. I thought I'd take this one. So we should have some good news to announce on that front before the end of the year in terms of our path forward that would see us replacing Sire in the first half of 2021.
Hallelujah. All right, good. Media is cheering right now hearing that. And the other question, I don't know who would answer this. From a security perspective, obviously, we've really ramped things up, but we also have been dealing with a lot of spam of late. I shouldn't say spam, e-petitions, form letters, and it creates a lot of challenges in councillors' offices because, of course, our regular constituency are getting mixed up in all these, we'll get 200 or 300 emails for, whatever campaign's happening of the day. Have we looked at best practices in other municipalities on how we can deal with that? I do like to point out the focus versus other in the inbox is very helpful, but sometimes I have to apologize to some of my constituents because their email gets lost in what could be 200 emails in one day.
So Sandra, I don't know if you want to take that or if Brian Wilson has anything to add, our Chief Information Security Officer.
I can take that one, Val.
Thank you, Brian.
And I don't know why, I apologize. I don't know why my video is not working, but I do have it on and my camera is pointing at me. So when it comes to spam or annoying emails like these that aren't necessarily part of our business, when we look at the numbers, we're actually filtering out millions, over a quarter of these, and a number are coming through, still coming through because they might be one-offs or they might be specially crafted to avoid the spam filters. So one of the things that we are doing is we're also increasing our security awareness program, which will help us get people to start reporting these messages in the Outlook application. When there is a button up top that says report message, and one of the things we want to do is educate people how to use this properly. So once these messages and people start reporting them, we can start filtering out specific messages that are coming through that shouldn't be coming through our spam filters. But generally with a spam filter, we put in a new control to identify a new set of spam or malicious software or malicious emails, and then the attackers then find a way around that, and then we have to put a new one. So it is a cycle, and by having that combination of the technical implications or technical implementations of security and the security awareness put forward, we're hoping to bring that down a lot more than it is.
Excellent. And that's great news. And the only reason I was raising that is because Microsoft has come out and said they're really looking at tackling it in a real way. And I wanted to make sure we were on top of it. But again, thank you so much, everyone. You guys do a tremendous job. And that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. One question that I have arising out of the budget, I'm guessing that we have purchased a lot of equipment to respond to COVID that we were not expecting to purchase. In terms of budget impact, does that mean that we have a lot of stranded equipment, stuff that is going to be a one-off, or are we a little accelerated in terms of our capital buys moving forward as a result?
Thank you, Councillor. I can answer that, and then maybe Lee can kind of jump in as well. So part of it, some of the new laptops that we purchased, right, is part of our regular life cycling. So some of it we were able to expedite a little bit because of the need was a little bit further that we required rather than other years. But overall, that's the managing that we have. So some of it we were able to provide to them. Some of that came back into our inventory that they no longer required it. So I don't know, Lee, if you have extra comments on that.
Yeah, sure. So we were able to reallocate some assets from our 2020 computer lifecycle program to provide equipment for staff that needed it to work from home with no additional hits on our budget. So it does put us in a little bit of a deficit position in terms of being able to replace that hardware, but we should be able to make up the difference next year and the year after. And we haven't seen a noticeable increase in calls or incidents arising from machines not being replaced this year that were due. So we're just sort of stretching that a little bit, and we were able to sort of reallocate to enable our workforce using some of those assets that would have been used in 2020 for replacing or refreshing computer hardware.
Okay. There's a consideration around e-waste, and we don't want to be responsible for creating a lot of e-waste. And I'm certain that you're managing that as rationally as you can in a very difficult time. So if there are no further questions from committee members, I'll ask Councillor Tierney to put the roadmap motion for approving the budget on the table.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So as you can see in front of you here, I'll just wait till it moves down a little bit. That the Information Technology Subcommittee recommend that Council, sitting as a committee of a whole, approve the ITSC portion of the 2021 draft operating and capital budget as follows. 1, the Information Technology Services budget as follows. A, Information Technology Services operating resource requirements, pages 3 to 4 of the IT's budget book.
Is that carried?
Carried?
Carried.
Great, thank you. And B, thanks, Jeff. ITS capital budget, pages 5 of the ITS budget book, individual projects listed on page 11.
Is that carried?
Carried.
Carried.
All right, again, with my my big thanks to staff and Sandro and his team for everything that they've done. That takes care of the budget. So we'll continue through the agenda. The next item has been lifted for discussion, update on connectivity, interim response to directives. And I know Councillor Suds had asked to have that lifted, so I'll just go to her to ask her questions.
Terrific. Thank you very much. And thanks for humoring me and lifting this. I just wanted to be able to have a brief discussion anyways on this topic, because I do know, at least personally, I find this to be a really great opportunity, and I know there's been some good work underway. I think first question I have with respect to the IPD, there was reference to the work that's underway as far as examining the potential to be able to provide internet connectivity as a public utility. And I'm wondering if you can elaborate on any timelines or report back when we would be hearing more about this work and the progress underway.
Thank you, Councillor. I'll ask Angela Scanlon to take that question, please.
Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor, for the question. Staff are going to explore what other municipalities have done with respect to using the public utility model to provide broadband as a service. We'll be looking at that in the first 2 quarters of 2021 with the intent to report back by the end of summer next year.
Great. Excellent. And I guess my other question in the same vein is through that work, will you be looking at opportunities to partner with others, be it Hydro/Envari or other potentially private sector partners to help provide a service? Is that part of the scope?
So staff have had and will continue to have conversations with Hydro Ottawa and its subsidiary Envari. We want to determine the best way to monetize the city's vertical assets. So we will be continuing to have those conversations into the new year. Valerie, I don't know if you wanted to add anything else or.
I don't have anything to add. I hope that the councillor is satisfied with the response. If not, we can dig further.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think there could be some interesting partnerships. And so I respect this is early on in the process and respect that you'll consider that as you go through the work. In the same vein, and I know, Valerie, I've shared this with you, my aspiration here is that as you get a bit further and you can assess what the possibilities are, that there's an opportunity for us to even pilot in a small scale way so we can demonstrate and test what's possible. So I'm hopeful and I'm certainly here to support that work as you get a little bit further into it. I know it's early days, so I won't push too hard yet. Another question I wanted to raise that actually came from the public and is related to connectivity, so humor me on this one. But there was a resident that was asking questions around do councillors' ward offices have adequate internet connection for us to be able to do our job remotely. And I guess I would raise that in that obviously we're spread all across the city, and there may be challenges in some offices over others, and the importance of making sure all of us can connect. Any comments on that?
Yes, so I will ask Sandro to take this question. I know we have a very robust administrative network into all of the city buildings, but I'll ask Sandro to give a little further information about that.
Yes. Thank you, Councillor, for the question. We have additional resources available for councillors experiencing connectivity issues at their wards, right? So if a councillor wishes to receive connectivity support, they can reach the council support services, and IT will coordinate with them. I know a couple of months ago, we did a reach out campaign, and we advertised these additional connectivity support options to councillors. And we respond to the ones that reached out for that service. And again, we are very open to do that as well. So I agree with you with respect to each of the different ward offices. It is different. There isn't a one kind of size for all fits, but we are very open. We understand how important it is for connectivity, especially during this time, for residents to have an opportunity to connect with their councillor. So I would open up that lease team in frontline services, if we coordinate with the council support, very much to kind of reach out to each of the respective areas, because I don't think there would be a one solution for all, but we're very open to kind of reach out and kind of streamline. And we've been doing some of that throughout 2020, where a particular councillor may have had an issue with connectivity, and we tried to have that, but we're very much willing to kind of maybe have a second campaign, a little bit more structured, reach out to all of the councillors. And if there is a request, we can kind of go revisit and see if it is adequate, the service that they're receiving right now.
Fantastic. I appreciate that, Sandro. And again, that actually came from a resident, not myself, but I thought it was important that we raise it. I know myself have been well supported, and I can see George nodding there, and being more rural, I can appreciate he might have some challenges. So I appreciate that. My last kind of vein of questioning around this is, and Valerie and I have spoke briefly about this, but I'm wondering if there has been any work or analysis into our various contracts to provide connectivity for our city facilities. It's a very broad question, I respect.
Yeah, and what I could do with regards to that is maybe we can kind of follow up with you on some specifics on that, because you're right, it is kind of a difficult question to kind of answer very quickly, and I think we need a little bit more detail. So I know we can have someone from our network operations group, potentially someone from our frontline, we can have a quick meeting to kind of get a little bit more detail, and we'll be very happy to kind of look at that to see if there's anything that we can kind of look at that from a contract perspective.
Yeah, and thank you, Sandro, and absolutely, it's not an easy question or discussion to have today. And I just think it's an important one for us, and I'm sure it's part of the checks and balances that your team does to ensure we're reevaluating those contracts and looking at what services are available above and beyond what we currently have. But that's certainly something we can take offline. I just wanted to raise it as an opportunity today. And I think that's all I have. Thank you for the good work on this.
Thank you very much, Councillor Suds. Councillor Derues.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just thank you, Councillor Suds, because you lifted this and we discussed it. I didn't want to bring it. It was about because it was in the budget, but I'm glad you did, because I do have a similar concern like Councillor Suds, and I'm happy to hear some of the initiative that we will be doing to Sandro highlighted. But I just it is important for us in rural Ottawa to have some of those services and connectivity. But I also want to recognize what Sandro's mentioned, and I think I agree with you 100%, because you know what, maybe we have to look at it in depth with every councillor to see how we can service their constituency, and not because of any differences, because every area has a different services and different requirements. And I think this is a very important element. And I'm very happy to see that this is what happened, because you know what? I know we live in one city, but every ward and actually every village has different interests than other village in our rural area too. So I'm very happy to see this conversation happening, and thank you very much, Councilor Suds, for bringing this out for the discussion. So I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Drews. I was also really pleased to see in the response to Councillor Suds' inquiry the reference to and continued momentum around a public utility model for broadband in the city. We've seen since March the importance of broadband for everybody that is affordable, broadband that is of a sufficiently good quality in order to be able to allow everybody to participate in the education requirements that are new, working from home requirements that are new. The city has a lot of assets, and through its partnerships has a lot of assets that we can bring to bear to ensure that our economy keeps humming along the way it should, and that residents have access to the kind of broadband they need in order to be able to continue to participate in, our democratic, our cultural, our economic life. And I'm looking forward to hearing that report when it comes next summer about how that can move forward. So thank you very much, Councillor Suds, for ensuring that this is lifted, and thank you for your original inquiry. And with that, I'll just ask whether the item is received.
Received.
Wonderful. Are there any, we'll just finish out the agenda. Are there any notices of motion for consideration at a subsequent meeting? I see none. Are there any inquiries? There's no other business, and adjourned. Are we adjourned?
Carried. Yes, adjourned.
Thank you.
Christopher, thank you for your help. Valerie, Sandra, thank you very much. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you. You as well.
Thank you.